Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you for coming on board for our second episode of The Divine Mess. We're just starting off, so it's about knowing ourselves and getting for you to get to know about the lovely co-host and myself. I'm Kirti Deva Peruman, also known as Deva. I'm a holistic life coach, and today I have the honor and pleasure of interviewing my co-host, Teena Ryan, also known as TR, and she loves the disco light as well. That's an inside joke though. And if you want to know more, you can contact us. So without further ado, we shall start. And Teena, just tell us a bit about yourself. So what do you do in life?
Oh,
What brought you to that?
Interesting segue. I am what I would term a change facilitator. So people that are going through big changes, little changes, whether that's work, relationships, just general life stuff where you want to tuck off the old version and throw on a sparkly new top in your life and be somebody a little bit different. That's what I like to help people with, because I like to offer a unique perspective. These gorgeous orange glasses give me a very unique perspective on looking at other people's challenges. And I'm also a internationally best-selling author, which my co-host is also one as well, which is fabulous. Motivational speaker and intuitive guide. So I like to kind of throw all of those things in the melting pot when I am assisting my clients through whatever change it is that they're wanting to go through. And sometimes they don't even know what changes they need to make, but at least they're reaching out and they're asking for help, which is the big thing. In general life terms, I am a mama of 4 boys, 2 birthed and 2 bonus. I have a very delightful life partner who works in emergency services. So that brings joy and pleasure and fun and excitement into our lives on a daily basis, with lots of fun, exciting stories that come home from work. I'm a mother to 2 4-legged children who got themselves in a lot of trouble today. So mama's been on the growl and the rant. I intentionally live my life. I am practicing a great deal of self-care these days and remembering to put myself first so that I can help everybody else in a better fashion. When I have taken care of myself first in the morning, then I have time and space and freedom to help others once I have done so.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a quick little
summary
of me, but I'm sure that my friend will be asking me those onion peeling questions to find out a little bit more. Hope to God there's no bloody tears in it, but you never know. Anything's possible on this podcast.
I don't think we can just peel the onion like one at a time, one layer at a time, or can we?
No, you're just going to cut right through to the center, love. I know you.
No, thank you for sharing this. I find it like a very colorful and lovely description of yourself, which we all know it sounds like the disco light, you know. That's the theme of today, I think, just spotting and having fun. Before you went for change, you know, like in your life, who was Teena before that? How would you describe yourself?
Oh, sad, miserable, withdrawn, contracted, I think is a really, really good word in terms of I had shrunk, you know, my essence, my energy, my personality, the things that I love to do, the things that excited me, lit me up, made life kind of worth living. I had put that all to the wayside in order to be of service to my husband, my children, my community, my family, my friends. Everybody else came first, and poor old teen was running dead last, if not way past dead last. Just a very unhappy, unfulfilled, what is my purpose, wandering around going, what the hell am I here for? Relying on alcohol and very bad country music to help me through my challenging spots, I suppose. And it was, I suppose, realizing when does your shit tolerance level kick in? When do you get to a point where you go, enough is enough? I've had enough. I'm sick of the way that I am behaving. I am sick of the people I'm spending time with. I'm sick of everything. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. And when you reach that shit tolerance level, then you know. No one can tell you when it's going to come. No one can say, oh, by the way, it'll be at 7:45 on a Thursday night, whilst you're doing the dishes. No one can tell you when that point in your life is going to come. It's one that you have to work out for yourself. But all you can hope is that you have really strong, supportive people around you when it does. If that's a reasonable description of the sultana that I was in a previous life.
Yeah, it sounds like, because I don't know you back then, I always heard stories about how you were before that. So honestly, from my perspective, I can't imagine you like this. It's very difficult to imagine. But I know for people watching or listening, they will see that bubbly, sparkly, they wouldn't have a clue, maybe, who Teena was. So that's my reasoning, like, behind this question, like, just to give people an idea, like, and you said, like, you reached that shit tolerant, like that tipping point, I would say. So for you, what was your tipping point and how did you shift from there?
Oh, look, I'd been in a marriage for quite a long period of time, from when I was 24, and I was in my early 40s. My husband at the time and I had very differing opinions on a lot of things, in how we took care of ourselves, how we moved through life, what was important to us, how we would raise our children, the friends we would spend time with, the things that we like to do, all of that was very, very different. And I had a moment when my second son was born that kind of was the start. It was kind of the spark of things starting to kind of edge down that very slippery slope. But it was then working out that I don't know if I want to stay in this. I don't know if I have what it takes to stay in this relationship. I don't think he has the capacity to give me what I need in order to grow. I was looking all outside of myself for help, guidance. I was going to meditation. I was going to yoga. I was going to women's circles. I was looking for answers of going, what's my next best move? And it was literally, it was a dawning realization. One night, my kids were all, bubbly and excited. Their dad was coming home. He'd come home in not a fantastic mood, not a great mood, but not a bad mood. And it all just kind of rolled downhill very, 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 very quickly. And over a period of kind of 9 months, this was the catalyst, the end of it. And I just went, I'm done. And it was like, you're done with what? No, I'm done with our relationship. I'm done with our marriage. I want a divorce. And it wasn't even a conscious, in here, I want a divorce, that came out of my mouth. It was literally like something that had been brewing in my gut for a long, long, long period of time, you know, and I'd spoken to every man and his dog about, you know, should I get a divorce? Should I do this? We don't know. We can't offer you that sort of advice. All we can say is this, and, you know, you've got to weigh up all these things. And it literally came from my belly and up and out my mouth. And I want a divorce. And I think he was kind of a little bit shocked. I think a lot shocked, actually, because I was Miss Consistency, you know, like everything was always the same. It was always consistent. The level of time and effort and attention and energy and everything that I gave was always consistent. There was never any of this kind of up and down. I mean, occasionally there was, in going, I need you to, you know, to do this for me, or to help me with this, or, you know, and it would fall on deaf ears because he was wrapped up in his own stuff. So I think that tipping point comes for everybody, and mine was Thursday night, washing the dishes, trying to get my kids ready for bed, you know, waiting for their dad to come home, and it all just went. It was just like an atomic bomb got dropped in my house. And then it was, well, then you need to deal with it. You need to deal with the parents. You need to tell them that we're getting a divorce. You need to tell the children in the morning. Boom, 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 you know, like you've got to take responsibility.
Yeah.
You're the one that wants it, so you deal with all the fallout. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So yeah, there's been some major catalyst type moments, I think, in my life, but I have often given thanks, and most people possibly won't understand it, but I've given thanks for my ex-husband, who is now my ex-husband, for who he was, for what he taught me, because I wouldn't be in the space I am today if I hadn't moved through all of those things with him, if I hadn't then started to do all the work and continued to do the work after I left the marriage, which then gave me a really unique perspective of looking in and going, oh, so that's why he does what he does. Oh, you know, so lots of gates kind of fell into place, but I didn't have that perspective until I was up and out of the relationship, that I could look at it with a fresh set of eyes, because you cannot see the mess that you're in until you're up and out of you know, until you sort of climbed to the top of the mountain and you've looked down and you're going, oh, so that's why everybody walks this way and does this, and behavior is this way, and you know, everything just kind of, all the boxes, all the lids fell on top, and it all fell into place, and it was like, yeah, now I get it, completely get it. But my life is a lot richer, I think, for having that experience, having met him, having made the choice to marry him, to have children with him, to move through life, running business, all of that sort of stuff. So I am exceptionally grateful for all of the lessons that I learnt out of it. And I know a lot of people who are divorced wouldn't very often say, thank you, you know, thank you for all of this. You know, they're going to swear and curse and do all the rest of it. And yeah, at times it drives me a bit crazy, but you know, that's just from lack of understanding, I think, about where, you know, the position that a person's in. And, you know, I don't have firsthand knowledge of what his life is all about anymore. I can only get an outside perspective, but I'm very grateful for all the lessons that I learned, because I'm able to apply them now with the people that I work with. So it's definitely a gratitude party for me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that challenging part of your life with us, you know, because I know how tough it was for you to share it at first. And I have been there. I would say I'm really honored to have been at the first part where you start really releasing, where it was like the release
Oh,
of
that
it.
was ugly, wasn't it? It was so ugly.
No, it was so beautiful for me to watch. Yeah. No, but it was like, it was, I mean, honor in the sense like to see someone doing the work. Like for me, it was you accepting how challenging it was. And for you now to today, like to say that I'm grateful, it shows how much work you have work on you, how much work you did on yourself, like the shadow work, like the parts where we don't want to explore. And that's absolutely brilliant from you. And that's what people who are listening right now are going to work and listen to you about, talk about how to do the shadow work. But coming from a feminine perspective, from that feminine energy, that you are going to bring in.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think my biggest learning out of all of it was I had learnt from an early age that women behaved in their masculine energy. Like,
Yeah.
Women took control, women did all the stuff,
Mm.
Because men couldn't be relied upon, that they didn't have the gusto or the get up and go or the, my papa is he's a beautiful human. He just doesn't have that strong masculine presence. And so my mum kind of moved into that role. So it was a learnt behavior that I stepped in. And even though my ex-husband was a very strong personality, when it came to our life, I just took charge of it, and it didn't give him the opportunity to hold space. It didn't give him the opportunity to say, I've organised this, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. My inner control freak wanted to run the party all the time because that's where I felt comfort and safety. And I think, like you say, when you do the work and you understand about your own contribution to a relationship when it's not working, you can't solely lay the blame at somebody else's feet and go, oh, they're an asshole, or they did this or that. Like, how did I contribute to that mess? How did I make him feel like he wasn't enough? How did I do all the stuff that left him feeling like he wasn't required in our family? And I think that's the biggest thing, is that I have apologized to him and said, I didn't give you the opportunity to step in and, learn what it meant to be a dad. I was the hovering mother, that helicopter parenting, that wanted to do it all, because obviously I'm the mum and I know how to do it all right, and you're doing it wrong, so don't do it. Now I don't sweat the small shit anymore. I let people work it out for themselves, as much as sometimes I want to get in there and I want to fix everything yesterday. It's like, it's not my job to run their race for them. It is my job to be a witness to their athletic ability through life, is to stand on the sidelines and cheer and offer water and sustenance as required, but that is it. And that takes a lot of practice, of not wanting to step in and be overly helpful, I think is a good word.
And I think it's like it's a daily reminder of yourself as well, like to remind yourself and to tell yourself that it's not your job to save the world as well. And I like the analogy of the race, because some people, it's like you feel that they're running like a marathon. Some it's like a sprint, but it's not. It's their journey. It's just how we look at it.
Yeah. And someone told me once that you cannot fuck up your children at all if you're coming from a parental perspective, right? Because your children chose you, their souls chose your soul before they even came to the planet. So they chose you to learn certain lessons as they're moving through life, whether you're a great parent, whether you're a crappy parent, whether you're a mediocre parent, whether you're an excellent parent, there are lessons that they're meant to garner from you to be able to move through their own life challenges. And that's where you have to go, oh, okay, I can relax.
Yeah.
I can relax because I can just be me, and they're going to get what they need to get and discard the rest.
And some people right now listening or watching, they might be saying, oh, what is Teena talking about? Like choosing to be my parents or your parents or my children. It's like we talk about soul contracts, and these are the type of lingo that we are going to share on this podcast as well.
Yeah.
So brace yourself for those spiritual terms, but we'll try to simplify them as much as we can.
Yeah, I think it's, from my perspective, we are all souls in human meat suits, and we get lots of goes at it until the lessons that our souls are given are learned. So whether it takes this whole lifetime, the next lifetime, the third, the fourth, the fifth lifetime, until you learn what your life lessons are. And I know from experience, I'm pretty sure what mine are. And David will always get a laugh out of it because it's patience and trust and surrender.
Surrender more.
Surrender a little bit more, because our guru, Gabby Bernstein, always says, when you think you've surrendered, keep going, kid, because there's more to it.
Surrender more.
Surrender more. So that for me is, overarching theme of my life is the lesson of patience, the lesson of being able to trust myself, trust my intuition, but then also trust the people that I have within my inner circle, and just to let go. It's okay. You can fall off the cliff and you're going to be okay. You might learn something on the way down, but you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as ugly as you think.
Yeah.
And even when it is ugly.
Yeah. And I think
there's good stuff in it.
I think when we are saying ugly, we're already judging. We're moving into that space where we are judging, oh, it's ugly, it's beautiful. So it's like we're comparing to something else.
Yeah.
And that's good to remind ourselves we're already perfect or divine.
Yes, absolutely. 1,000%. But I think a lot of people relate quite well to that, the polarity of life, in terms of it being, it's the light and the darkness, that you can't have one without the other, and that you're going to have moments in your life that are divinely messy and that are divinely beautiful, where you just go, oh, this is just amazing. Or this, and so the quicker you can work out what you're supposed to gather out of the moments that feel awkward or uncomfortable or difficult or hard to traverse, where are you pushing to achieve an outcome? Where are you pushing for something to happen? Where are you trying to row your boat essentially upstream? What would happen if you took the oars out of the water and just let the boat spin and you started flowing with the current? What would your life look like? Pushing for job opportunities, for relationships, for your kids to do something that you really want them to do, but they have zero interest in doing. What would happen if you just let go?
Yeah.
I won't sing the Frozen song like you do to me in 57 different languages.
Yeah. So just sharing some Frozen song. Yeah.
Yes. We'll find the theme song sooner or later, or everybody knows it, at least. I'm sure.
And speaking of polarity, so we created we thought about the divine mess, and we talk about the masculine and feminine energy. Like, what inspired you for you, like, to be part of this journey, of this new journey or adventure, I would say?
Oh, look, for me, the overarching thing was, I think, our friendship that seemed to bubble up out of nowhere, and then having this ease and grace in which you and I could converse about things. And I remember the first time I asked you a really hard question, and I was like biting my nails as I'm typing out this question to you, going, is this really what you want to be doing in your life? And I'm going, I know we're friends, but this is like pushing the envelope a little bit. And I think the minute that I did that, it really transformed our friendship into something more, where we felt very comfortable exposing the underbelly of our lives and the challenges that we were having. And I always appreciated your very unique perspective on, I'm a one-woman show in amongst 5 men.
Yeah.
And it's always very good to get a man's perspective that isn't in my immediate circle.
Yeah.
At how I can look at my things, not from a feminine perspective, but from a masculine perspective. And I think once we started that, we went, there's something in that. And I think when you've asked me questions about, when you've dealt with, different women in your life, in work and relationships and those sorts of things, and I've gone, well, I looked at it like this and like this and like this, and then we've kind of gone, I think there's something to it in terms of looking at, can men and women be friends without there being any sort of romantic notion in it, and the level of understanding that we can gain from the opposite sex through friendships, I think is really enlightening. I know it's been extremely helpful to me in dealing with my boys, and, just looking at men with a different parameter than what I was choosing to use, and even looking at, things with my ex-husband as well, and going, am I looking at this wrong? So that for me was, I think, part of the journey. I don't think it was all dumped all at once. I think there were just like these series of events that made both of us look at it and go, I think there's really something here where your clinical background or your science background and my practical, everyday, hands-on background provides a really unique balance in understanding how we can bring those divine energies into what we do, but also I think to bring a level of awareness in, am I playing in the empowered side of my life, or am I playing in the wounded side of my life? And how can I change my mindset? How can I shift my language? How can I look at my life through a slightly different lens in order to grow, to evolve, to change, to be and do better as a person? Because you and I both know that it's about education and learning, but at the same time it's applying the knowledge that we have and embodying that in order to achieve new and different outcomes, you know, and being able to manifest a completely different life for ourselves than what we've experienced previously. So yeah, that's my roundabout answer for that one.
No, but thank you for sharing that, because I always remember, like, so we met through another coaching program as well, which we honor as well, like Wendy Corner. So anyone, you can check her out on the social.
Amazing voice coach. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Quirky, unique, highly intuitive, our type of human. That's why we were attracted to her in the first place. But her deal is about making a difference. And I think she really made a difference in my life. I know she made a difference in yours. And I think through the introduction has acted as a catalyst in making a difference in so many other people's lives, because it's both given us the confidence to go, you know what, we're just going to start having a chat once a week, and we're going to upload it, and whoever we touch, and whoever we don't, and those that need our help will find us. But
And
that was her difference.
And those who are willing to work with us, because can you tell us a bit more about your like coaching background? Because I know you have a company as well that you.
Yeah, it was an interesting roundabout way in getting there. I operated 2 small businesses with my ex-husband. In the second business, I wore multiple hats, as you do. Everybody knows who runs their own businesses. You are the salesperson, you are the human resource person, you are the order packer and shipper person, you are the bookkeeper and the accountant, you know, you're the telephonist, you do all and everything that is required. You're the buyer, you're the seller, you all of the stuff all rolled into one. And then because heads up, people, don't work with your spouse if you can help it. And for my case, it just didn't work so well. But, you know, for some people, they can make it work. Didn't happen for me. Once I had decided to leave the business, previous to that, we had a business coach who was helping us look at numbers and trying to look at ways in which we could grow, expand, change the business, change our mindset, all of those sorts of things. And when I left, I rang him and sort of said, you know what my skill set is, you've done my personality profiling, all the stuff. Do you know of somebody who might be looking for a, sales manager, chief operations officer, those sorts of roles, because that's what I had done. And he came back to me in a couple of days later and said, I'd like you to come and work with me because you've got a really unique perspective. So I learnt business coaching from the inside out. I learnt it from a social media and management point of view. I learned it from a people management point of view. I learned it from a numbers point of view, looking at pulling people's businesses apart, what was working, what wasn't. But my biggest focus out of all of it was the people that were running the businesses. And just because a lot of people seem to think that they can disconnect the business person from the private person, when in actual fact you can't. It's not like you can take one section of your brain out when you go home and chuck all the business stuff away, and vice versa when you go to work. It's all encompassed in the one person. So that for me was a primary focus. And once I had settled everything with my ex-husband and I had some money to invest in myself, is probably a good word.
Yeah.
I went, I really want to help people. Like, I want to help people facilitate mindset changes and understand energetics and how do they apply that in their day-to-day life, but it also impacts and influences their business. So I decided to kind of go out on my own and work with women primarily, not to the exclusion of men, but that were the type of clients that I was attracting. And a lot of the time, the key or the overarching theme was value. It was the value they were charging for themselves in their business. It was the value that they saw in their own skill sets. It was the value that they saw that they brought to a table in a relationship, and working through those bits and pieces was, I love that. I love pulling stuff apart, like teasing apart a big ball of string, like when you've got a ball of wool that is all messy and you just start to pull it apart so you can see very clearly where things are winding in and out, and helping them see their true worth and their true value and what they can charge in their business and feel good about charging that, but also asking for what they're worth in relationships. And I'm not solely talking about business relationships or romantic relationships. It's familial ones, and it's your friendships, and it's at any time and stage, any type of human interaction that you have, in knowing this is my value, this is what I'm worth, this is my boundary, this is what's acceptable, this is what's not. And so many people are very, very wobbly in what they're prepared to accept, because let's face it, all of us, all we want is to be loved and appreciated on a very simple, basic level. So we will pretty much do anything in order to achieve that if we've not yet begun to do the work as to why we need to be loved in that way, why we want, someone to kind of fall all over themselves. And 9 times out of 10, it's because we won't fall over us to help ourselves, to love ourselves. We're looking for all of this external validation when we need to begin to validate ourselves first, because the relationships we get are an accurate reflection of how we feel about us, where we're at. So that for me is the big key thing. And you will normally find me at a party or any sort of networking event. I socially move around, but then I will find that one person that we start to have a conversation, and the next thing I know, I'm getting everything. I'm getting the relationship woes, I'm getting the business, all of it just kind of bubbles to the surface, and they want to share everything with me all at once. It's like a verbal vomit of all of
I can vouch for that.
Of all of their stuff, and it's just, how do I look at this better? What do I do? How do I fix it? And all of those sorts of things. So that for me, in offering clients what I like to term as break through your bullshit. So just to sit and mind map and pull everything apart, and then start to add back in the good stuff and feel good about releasing and letting go of the things that aren't serving where you want to go next.
Yeah.
And then from those sessions normally is when people go, oh, I want to keep in contact with you every day. So I want to have you in my back pocket, or I want to meet with you once a week, because that's the thing that works best for me. And 9 times out of 10, I'm really happy to, and probably like you, bespoke some sort of package for people where they get a little bit of everything until they work out. Because coaching's like any relationship, right? Is that you've got to kind of see how it all kind of fits together. How often do you need to have your hair stroked and your hand held, or how often do you need that really good kick in the ass and saying, well, I think you're full of shit, and you need to have an energetic clean out and decide what's really important. So we offer that yin and the yang. I think both of us do in our coaching programs, and the way in which we coach is giving that soft love and tough love at the same time.
Yeah.
And that may be a little bit of mothering energy from me, in terms of going, I love you, but you know what? You could be better.
Yeah.
You know, you could ask more of yourself. So that's kind of my general deal. But, you know, if people want to, after listening, DM and just ask questions and go, how do I go about working with you? And the same for when I get to pick your brains a little bit next week. How can we work together? What does it look like? You know, can I book you for a week? Can I book you for 12 months? Can I, you know, book you for the rest of my foreseeable future? Yeah. Sure. Let's see how we can make that work. So it works for you and it works for me, because I'm all about teaching to honor yourself first, put all that in place, and then, you know, do the work that is required. So that's kind of me.
Because sure, just a little bit, but hearing you, it's like it's come from your experience, you know, like what you have gone through, and that's how you can offer much value, because these are your learnings that you're contributing to someone else's life, and how you talk about that mindset change a lot, and how you can transform their life. And that's what I appreciate it. Especially, I nickname you the intuitive queen, you know, like, and just when we first met, and I know, well, since I known you, like it's your go-to, like using your intuition, and that's how I feel that you help the person way better as well, and you can really dig in and, like you said, break through the shit. And it might be a coaching package, maybe anyone looking for that. And just
it may be an hour-long consultation, it may be a 30-minute call. I think for both of us, we like to act as catalysts for change. That we want people to be their best, to experience all the joy and all the fun and all the excitement that life has got to offer. This life is not meant to be shitful and ugly and boring. It is supposed to be happy and joyous and abundant and beautiful, but it depends on your perspective.
Yeah, depends on which pair of glasses you're using, like we like to say.
Correct.
And I would like to filter. And I would like to go back to the Divine Mess. Like, what is your vision for the Divine Mess podcast, and how do you think it's going to impact people for you, like according to you?
Oh, for me, I suppose it is the knowledge is power. That's something I always say to my kids all the time. The more you know, the more powerful you become. The more you know about yourself, the more powerful you are in walking into any situation, anywhere, anytime. When you feel at your best, you are the most powerful. So my hope out of all of it is for people to understand is life is a big divine mess. It's, you know, it's light and it's dark and it's up and it's down and it's happy and it's sad and it's angry and it's, you know, magnificent and it's all the things. It's just this massive melting pot. But for people to be able to, I think, tune in once or twice a week just to kind of go, so when I feel like that, that's normal. That's okay. I don't ever want people to feel that they are an island and that they're having to cope with crappy situations, or the Karens or the Nigels in their heads telling them that they can't do something, or that they're not good enough, or they don't have the capacity, that they can tune into us and know that even through all the amount of work that you and I have both done, we still have those moments. We still have those moments
Yeah.
of doubt. We still have, there's 5 million bloody podcasts on Spotify. Why the hell would we think that we could potentially have a very successful podcast? Because we have a message that we want to share, and we want to be of service. And I think when we are acting in alignment with who we are, we're both utilizing the God-given voices that we have. We're sharing from learned, practical, clinical experience, that we do have something really valuable to offer. And that, for me, I know I messaged you 2 weeks ago and said, I'm sick of my bullshit excuses. Let's just get this thing done. Because it's been brewing for 6+ months, and we finally both pulled our fingers out and went, yeah, okay, you know, the universe has cleared decks for us in order for us to be able to record consistently every week, and to find the right times for us to be able to bring our joyous, happy souls to you every week. And our hope out of all of it is that we can provide not only the podcast, but we can provide a coaching platform in which we can assist people with mindset, relationships, personal change, business change, energetic change, understanding their own unique design and how they can best move through this world, how to tap into their own intuition, all of these beautiful skills that we have been given, and know that they are things that people can really hone with practice, just like riding a bike or going to the gym or learning how to swim. All of these spiritual practices get better with time and attention, like anything else. And I don't know, you know, like getting out on the road with my friend and being able to speak on stage and to, you know, stand up and give workshops, and to, you know, do live Q&As where people can bring their, this is what's bugging me, and how do I, you know, how do I go about moving through this? How do I change the blocks and the mindset that I have around it to create a different life? And so that you're getting a balanced point of view, you know, like David and I are not always going to agree on a course of action or a path forward, but we can provide from very different experiences a way to a different perspective or a different way of looking at things, you know. Books, journals, I think the sky is the limit. Well, it's not really, because it's, you know, I think it's completely universal that we can have anything that we want related to our podcast, you know, that we can have guest experts on. We can bring people with all sorts of amazing skill sets and areas of expertise that we can also learn from, that we can share that knowledge with you every week. So there's big things afoot. I don't think that a podcast is the be all and end all for us, for the Divine Mess. I think there's a lot that will come from it, and obviously those that are listening will be a guiding force in that. We want to create a divine community
Yep.
of like-minded souls that, you know, if you've got friends or family members or co-workers or people that you know that need a little divine inspiration every week to kind of help them through whatever it is, or even if it's just for a laugh and a joke, because we always love to have we were killing ourselves laughing before we even pressed the record button today. So you will get the raw, unedited version of myself, the challenges with raising 4 boys, with living with the love of my life, with, you know, all the stuff. And as David goes through all the seasons of his life as well, I think we're going to learn a lot about him next week. Yay. So for me, that's, if anybody's got any brilliant ideas of where we could take it or what they would like to see from it, well, then we are open to suggestion. So does that kind of answer your question, my friend?
I know. It's the people's questions and not mine. It's the divine asking.
It is the divine asking.
No, but thank you for saying everything that's needed, you know, like everything that we have talked about, we have reflected, we have said, oh, we should, we must, and then we are just going for it. And we are just going for it. So thank you so much for today, you know, for this.
And sharing about that much of the 52 Italian wedding cake, layered Italian wedding cake that is my life.
And yeah, being open to it, you know, like it's some people, well, I think most people realize how challenging it is to open oneself, and especially sharing yourself to the world now. As we know how the technology is evolving, it's going out in the open. And it's about
this is me, this is you.
Yeah.
We are raw, we are unedited. There will be, and I'd hate to say, if you are soft and sensitive, there will be the F-bombs and there will be things thrown in there that may make some people feel uncomfortable, but
especially
will be, yes, will be utilised as necessary when one is trying to articulate a point. It may be needed. I may be able to refrain myself, but I don't think so. David knows me well enough to know that they come thick and fast normally in a conversation. So,
no, but before we finish off, like I know you said like people can DM or something. Is there like any other wisdom you want to share, and even share your socials where they can find you or connect with you?
Yeah, they can find me on Facebook and Instagram are the 2 places that I like to play. So it's Dharmas and Co. So DHARMASNCO. And you'll find the chickie with the orange glasses front and center in most of the posts, or you will see my 4-legged creatures, or you will see anything that gives me divine inspiration is what I like to put up on my reels and my stories. And I'm getting more comfortable with the video version and not always putting on a polished front, that you may get the hot sweaty face after a gym workout, you may get the disasters when it comes to hair and makeup, or me growling at my 2 dogs today because they made a mess in my house and then they were feeling extremely sorry. So you're going to get it all. And that's just me. That's life. Divinely messy, all of it.
Thank you so much for sharing this part of you, like just a little bit of it. We're looking forward for the next week one. Thank you everyone for joining us, for listening, for taking your time, whether you're listening in the car or at the gym, and please share your comments. Like we're looking forward for feedback or how we can improve, and any topic that you want, that you're interested to know more about. The first few weeks, it's all about telling a bit what the divine mess is and who we are it's about getting to know each other. So please feel free to share where you're from, what you do in life, and how we can help you. We are just, like Teena said, we are here to serve you. So please just connect with us, and you will find our social, our links below the videos or
My friends is very obvious up here. He's the hero's mystic. You can't miss him. He's on socials the same as me. So
thank you so much. Yeah.
check him out. He's worth every penny.
Thank you so much for that, Teena. So we are looking forward for our next recording in next week. So until then, take care, everyone. And
keep it real.
Yeah.
Lots of love. Always.
Be yourself.
Correct.
I'll see you.
Ciao.